Hey guys, what's up? It's Lucid and welcome back. We're playing Bogarus. And as you can see, we're casting a lot of spells. There's so many spells that it really impacts your research. Like, I mean, no kidding guys. This is like, if all of these mages, let's just count. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is probably at least 30 spells we're casting, alright? And if each of these mages is 14 RP, thereabouts, then that's like 30 times 14, which is like, that's not that many. It's only like 400 RP. Okay. 500 RP-ish. Anyway, we'd be a good bit higher, but doing lots of casting, boys. Yeah, we were extremely unlucky, as we have basically been all game with remote site searching. It has been a horrible investment for us so far. But we did target this smaller army with their god in it with 5 horror attacks, and we did not get very good RNG on this. If we look at it, we got 2 of the belly maul horrors, and they both rolled pretty low for the number of belly mauls they get, and we got 1 soul torn, and the soul torn rolled low. And then we got 2 sets of these guys, which they're not my favorite. They're okay here. They're not great. So, yeah, it just wasn't a great roll. There's a lot of things here that would be a lot better, but we'll watch it. We burn gems. They do a ton of creeping doom. A sleeping cloud coming down. Some of our guys getting assassinated. The belly mauls are very efficient at killing these bugs, though. These guys get surrounded by little flying bugs. These guys aren't an advancing cast, and we do manage to get, almost managed to get all, or you know, this guy too. All the people that ran forward. That guy manages to run away. And yeah, that's about all she wrote for this dude. So, you know, this was not an epic win. I think we should have... I think we got pretty unlucky with the dice roll on what kind of horrors we got. But, you know, that is, those are the highs and lows of the horror canon game. And we failed to infiltrate Vaettiheim, which is a little unfortunate. This was us pinging that province we hit with horrors, and he moved in reinforcements, so there we go. We can probably kill this reasonably easily, maybe even without, maybe with just 1 sin lesser horror, depending what kind we get. But like, if a brass claw horror group might be able to kill that. And so might a belly maul, and so might a big roll of soul torn. Anyway, we'll probably hit this group with just 1, just to attrition it down, because there's no mage support. And guys, get out the popcorn. You have been waiting for it. This enormous monkey stack. I was talking with the elves a little bit beforehand. Just wondering, or they were actually talking to me, but they were, yeah, they were like, hey, what do you think they're going to do? I was like, I don't know. But they've been really cautious so far. I didn't actually think they were going to storm. There were some really cool things on the... These guys, the Camazotz, who are twice born with Medallions of Vengeance. I really like that. That was cool. I'll have to try to steal that sometime. And they got their god here, who's a huge badass. And... yeah, it's a pretty beleaguered group of mages trying to defend the cap. So we'll see how it goes. They were really hoping that they didn't storm this turn, because they were going to get Wailing Winds. And if they got it, this battle's really close. It would have changed the outcome a lot. So it's kind of cool. You'll see, okay, the first of the bats landed here and blew up a fair amount of stuff. These suicide bats. There's another one over here. That guy blows up, takes a few blood slaves with him. And so far, the battlefield enchantments, we got Grip of Winter up, we have Light of the Northern Star, we have Relief, Quagmire, and Storm. So, a lot of Thunderstrikes coming in, doing a fair amount of damage. Thunderstrike's very effective at nailing people in these gates. And Thunderstrike is a very long-range spell, so it can hit these archers way back here. That said, there's not a ton of stuff to clog the gate up. And sadly, a lot of this stuff does not have cold resistance. The elves do, but I don't think these guys do. Yeah. The Galdermen don't. So... yeah, these archer things are... you know, a lot of these things are getting knocked out by the storm, but there's enough of them here. They are killing these mages. Just a phenomenal amount of fire that is keeping this gateway cleared of all the chaff. And some of these are coming back here and lighting up these mages. Like, look at this Van Jarl. He's on fire and he's got 1 hit point left. He's probably going to die this round. Another one hits him. I mean, these monkeys are pretty good shots, as it turns out. That said, they haven't really broken through the gate. I mean, they kind of have, but they're not really pouring through. And there's a lot of Raised Dead being cast because, you know, the Thunderstrikes are killing a lot of troops, and that puts corpses on the battlefield, and that allows them to cast Raised Dead. And right now, a lot of these dead are chasing after wolves instead of clogging up the gate, which is one of the things Howl is good for. Unfortunately, a lot of this stuff is now asleep from Grip of Winter. It's, yeah, it's a problem. Look at it. And it might not wake up. It's a big, fat, hairy problem. And, you know, it's looking like between these Howl waves, like the Long Dead here would make a resurgence, or the Raised Dead. And they've managed to rout some of these things. But just all these mages are asleep. That's the main problem. And there's a bunch of banishment coming out from this side with relief. But all the mages are asleep over here. So ultimately, I think they would have held this. Except that it was a fatigue play. Now, if they had Wailing Winds... I think they would have clearly won this fight. And they were going to get it this turn. So if the monkeys had waited a turn, and this will be kind of cool because they might not know until they watch this video. But yeah, if they had waited a turn, then they probably would have lost. So storming right now with everything they had was totally the right call. Sometimes you have to YOLO, and this is a big YOLO, and it really worked out for the monkeys. It really worked out. One thing that can happen, you'll see it happening here, is when your troops that have gone through the gate have retreated, and you have other guys trying to get through, it blocks up really bad. It'd be cool if there was another way for this to happen, because this is a kind of annoying feature of fort battles. Anyway. And at the end, it's just the Frostfather. And, he's got a lot of protection. But, those are Earth Elementals, and they hurt. Yeah. He does have Regen on him. Oh, and then he routs. I didn't even realize this at the end. He had won. Oh my god, it was closer than I thought. When I saw it get down to him, I just clicked out of the battle. I didn't see that he actually managed to rout the enemy. And they just got off the field. They couldn't get off the field because of the fatigue play. And the god woke up and they hit the 110 turn timer. And that was how he lost. Oh my god. I didn't know that. That adds even more drama. I mean, how close could it have been? At the end of the day, a very, very epic win for Patala. They really needed this to be strong and present in the game. to just go ahead and knock out the elves, and they have accomplished that. So, and they didn't lose much. You know, they lost a couple magi, and I think actually these were mercs. These guys were twice born, and then they lost a bunch of garbage, which they probably needed to get off the payroll anyway. I think these were mercs. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff here, right, that definitely wasn't mercs, but a lot of it was garbage that they lost. I think like their higher quality stuff, like the Bandar warriors and the Bandar archers, most of them lived. Most of what died was the garbage. They did lose a fair amount of Naga warriors, which, you know, whatever. On the other side, it was pretty devastating, but I mean, look at it. I mean, 60 guys against. It's like the 300 holdout. I mean, it's impossible. And not impossible. I mean, they almost did it, but, you know, it's tough. And now on to the favorite part of every turn with Bogarus in the late mid-game, which is looking at events. Attracted by activities of the local cult, evil has struck. This is a horror attacking us. And this, you know, we've known that this fort has a horror problem. There was a horror-related event last turn. Now we got attacked by Big Heart. Now, we can farm them and steal them, which would be hilarious. We kind of need Thumb 6 or 7. 6 for Enslaved Mind. 7 if we want to be... Sorry, I had the yawns. 7 if we want to be really, really fancy with Charm. But we don't really have Nature Mages to spare. But we're not going to wait around for it. We're going to get this fort cleared off. And we're just going to zap it with Elemental Magic. But we might farm them later once we have more magic. This is an interesting event. We got a bunch of like crappy dudes who are basically just going to be patrol chaff for us. And then this is not from Firebirds. It's just I was finding a troll layer from having luck 3, but this is real nice. I think there's around like 10 gems ish. 11 gems. And then we find 14 gems. This is from Firebirds. And then we get 1,000 gold. That's from Firebirds. And we get 5 water gems. That is also from Firebirds. So, starting to pick up. Here's the horror that attacks us. And we catch a scout. And that's about it. So, things are going pretty good. TNG is finally back. And they were annoyed that their partner didn't get more done while they were gone. And I was annoyed too, because I wanted this war to be done by now. And I don't want these guys in a weakened state so vaettiheim can knife them. He's told me he's doing a few things. He said he's trying to get a citadel built here, and he's trying to fort this up. He had to do a bit of, like, he didn't have enough commanders to lead all of his dudes, so he's getting those built, and he's going to be riding out. And I told him, it's fine, he can have all of this when he gets here in the cap. And that will be that. But, you know, Archaecephaly may ride out and want to take a fight. So we'll see what happens. And this will certainly be a good turn for them to do it, because we can't potentially reinforce from this army. So we'll have to see what they do, because I don't know. Hard to say. But yeah, they're definitely getting everything to their capital for a big cap defense. I think the problem with that they have to face is if they ride out, we're going to kill it. Now we're actually saving up. I'm casting Bowl of Blood a few times, which is kind of as a spell, but well, you know, we're going to do it. We're going to do it in places we haven't blood hunted it. I mean, we haven't blood site searched at all. So some of Arca's land in some other places, but generally I wouldn't advise it. Some people do it and they find good sites, and then I'm like, damn it, I should have done it. I can't complain about not finding the sites when I don't cast it, but I've never found anything good. It's normally just a waste of mage turns and slaves, but we'll try it. We'll see if we get lucky. I mean, so far we have not been lucky with remote site searching, but we're going to be making a lot of sanguine dowsing rods this turn, and that's because we're really turning up blood. We sadly didn't get that many slaves this turn. If you look at it, we only got 15, 20, 40, like 65 slaves, which is not good. We want to be up in the 100 plus. This is coming online now, but we got to get sanguine dowsing rods out to these guys. We got more dudes with sanguine dowsing rods coming down here to get this place set up. these places are all going. So we've got 3 over here. This we're moving an army to, and they're going to blood hunt. And then this one, I think we just started blood hunting this turn maybe. And so that will continue. And we're just going to try to casually keep control of Arco's cap circle. And now that TNC's in charge, we're going to let them come in and take it. And again, you know, we could go and try to kill Arco, but we're going to probably lose a lot. It'll make TNC pissed with us. And you don't bring... If you talk somebody into a really hard war, like we knew killing Arco was not going to be easy. And in some ways, they got a bit of more the short end of the stick, and that I'd say Arco was a bit more aggressive to them. They were aggressive towards us too, but when we presented, you know, compelling force, they pulled back. And I guess TNC wasn't able to present that kind of force, but... yeah, anyway, they've had a rough go of it, and they're super important to the game state because we can't have them giving these turns to vaettiheim in some way, shape, or form, or we just lose. And I need them to be strong, and more importantly, if you want people to work with you on hard projects in the future, you need to treat them well when they perform. You know, they didn't perform admirably here exactly because they kind of got trounced, but they certainly followed up on their work. Like they were true to their word, and they tried. And so that's good enough for me. Yeah, and I think the way I'm looking at this is I just feel like we're going to scale a little bit harder than most of the other nations here, especially given our spot. The other thing we started thinking about is we're going to have Wish real soon. We're going to have Wish in 3 turns. And what that's going to mean is we can start wishing for gems. And when we do that, we're going to get basically plus 25 to all of our gem types, except Astral. But we're going to have to keep that going. We're going to have to keep alchemizing most of these back into pearls. And effectively what it's going to do is it's going to let us turn one gem type into another. And if the kinds that I think we want most right now, I mean, obviously the pearls are great. But I think we want to make a play to control Maelstrom, because Maelstrom's really, really good. And potentially controlling it will deny it from vaettiheim, who presumably has really good water income, maybe better than ours. So we want to do that. At the same time, we want to keep funneling gems into Firebirds. So it's kind of like, I think we want to, and we can do both at the same time. We just have to alchemize everything back. And I haven't run the math, but ideally, if we have 50 gems of the other type effectively, and we'll talk about what that means in a second, then we can do it. But that would also include gems we get from events, which is a very, like this turn we got almost 40 gems from events. So that's a pretty big bonus too. So anyway, let's look at it. We got 4 air plus 16 earth plus 8 death plus 7 nature. And that equals 35. So that would mean we could turn 35 gems from those types into fire or water, which, great. That's not enough. But we can also turn our pearls into fire or water at a rate of 2-to-1. And so that would be 35 plus 24, which means we can sustain building up 2 gem types at 25 a turn if we want to. And we don't. Hopefully, with the amount of gems we get from events, that will supplement this enough that we can also do most of the other kind of small fidgety things we want to do. And what I'm thinking is we try to do a cast of Maelstrom at like 350. And if we look at it right now, in 3 turns, we're going to have 45 more water. So it's going to be, we'll call it 65 water now plus 45. That'll be 110 water gems in 3 turns. And that'll be the first time we can actually cast it. And so after that, we'll be making 40 water a turn. And the reason, of course, is because we get our base income of, we'll call it 15, and the wish income of 25. And if we want to do a cast of 350, then that's going to mean we have to scrounge up another 240 gems. And so 240 divided by 40 gives us 6. So potentially in not very long, like 9 or 10 turns, we can put up a 350 cast of Maelstrom. Which, who would expect that from Bogarus, which doesn't have great water access? And we could wait another turn and do like 400 something, right? Something people really wouldn't expect. Anyway, I think that's a pretty good play. I think we're getting strong enough too that I almost don't care if people coalition us exactly. Like, people coalition us and we kill their armies, we kind of win. And the other thing to think about is, where will we be in those 9 turns when we cast it? We had said we're going to have Alt 9 in 3 turns, and then we're going to have basically 6 to 7 more turns after that. We could potentially be at Blood 9, and we'll be very close to 2 more 9s. Like either Blood 9 or Blood and Thumb. We could actually run the precise numbers, but maybe we just have one more. We'll see, because we're going to be at probably right around 3,500 research a turn by then. Because one of the other things that's been happening is our citadels have been finishing, and most of our citadels we have running at the 1.5 mages a turn. This one we don't. I think this is our only one. But most of them do. Like this one should. This one should. So the mage number should really be starting to go through the roof, which is good. It's real good. But yeah, anyway. That's good. And we've got more forts coming up. We got a fort coming up here. We're building a temple here. We already built a lab here last turn. Wait, what is this? We haven't site searched water. Okay. But yeah, this is getting built. This fort over here is pretty close. 3 turns away. This one I think is 4 turns away. This one we just started this turn, so it's 4 turns away. We'll probably be putting a fort here next turn. So lots of forts coming up, and we'll probably be putting a fort here pretty soon. And then we'll be forting up these 2 provinces, hopefully, once this war with Arco kind of begins to chill out a bit. But yeah, I'd say things are going pretty amazingly, except let's talk about, I think the way we win is pretty obvious now. Like, we are blood power, we're going to scale well, we have great magic path access. At some point, once we get like 200 blood slaves a turn, we'll start being able to make like real good armies of demons, especially once we get Blood 9, which, by the way, that's not very long away. Like Blood 9 is probably only 9 turns away, and then we'll start really getting demon armies. So we're really trying to get our blood economy booming before that happens. And mind you guys, this only turned 45. It feels like it's like turn 70 or 80, but no, it's turn 45. So, yeah, and then the Firebirds are going to be going crazy. We are going to have to do the little hide our army thing. One thing we're doing, we're making amulets of the dead to reanimate better, because we're going to have to reanimate an equal amount or more of long dead to keep up with all of our Firebird production, so that we can hide them. So that will be kind of fun to do. I think we're twice borning somebody this turn too. We'll probably go suicide another one, so I have 2 of these guys. The death ones are just so good. It's probably good to twice born them anyhow, so if they die, we just don't lose them, because there are only death air access, which is really important. But yeah, so our path to winning is somewhat obvious, right? We get a lot of Firebirds, we're a Blood Nation, we're going to have demons and stuff. We're probably position 1 in a lot of the economy metrics. So in some ways it's kind of predictable. We're going to be really in a point where like Calum can't really touch us very easily, and not very long. And so then you have to say, like, what would a coalition really mean against us? And it wouldn't mean a ton once we get demons and stuff going. before then, we don't really have a ton of troops, so our troops could get spread kind of thin, and without enough troops, your mages tend to kind of die a lot. So, anyway, yeah. Anyway, so that's the obvious way we win. The way we lose is pretty obvious too. It's Vaettiheim killing Tianchi, or Vaettiheim attacking this way and maybe eating somebody else, and then we have to decide. Do we declare war on Vaettiheim, or do we go eat Kalem? And Kalem is really the only people that we can attack. Even though they've been super friendly all game. If we attack the monkeys, we throw the game to Vaettiheim. If we attack Tianchi, we throw the game to Vaettiheim. And those are our only neighbors. However, we're going to be attacking, if we attack the birds, we're going to be attacking into Dark Skies. And so we really can't do that until we get some good demon leaders. Like maybe a Father Ill-Earth would be great. We can bring our mages, but they're going to be running like turn 1 of every combat. Unless we're fighting in our Dominion, or where there's low Dominion, then Dark Skies won't matter a ton. But we can also raid with horrors and stuff. However, we could do that in response to Vaettiheim eating somebody. And potentially go attack Vaettiheim ourselves. And by the way, there's a golem here. This fort is a lot smaller. I wonder if he's attacked Ulm. Where's Ulm? Ulm is right here, I think, right? Wait, no, this is Falegra. He's been moving stuff. All the stuff has left his cap, and he's got a very small force over here. I think the big army's here. We'll have to see. Something is afoot, and I'm not exactly sure what it is, but something is afoot. Something's definitely afoot. But I think the way we lose is Vaettiheim either gets these thrones, or they attack and they catch up to us and get bigger. And our, they could potentially eat Jomin or Ulm. And those are both softer targets than I have. I would either have to attack the monkeys, which, like I said, is throwing the game to Vaettiheim, or I have to attack Kalem, which I think we can manage. And in some ways, it's a good idea. But we need to basically get demons. So we can't really do it for probably 8 turns until we can start summoning demons. And it's probably going to be it probably will be 14 turns from now, which is going to mean right around turn 60 we could do it. So we'll have to see. But controlling Maelstrom will be great because it's going to give us a ton of water gems, which, by the way, is one of the ways to mess with Vaettiheim, because you can kill little Gaija people and little Vetti dudes with Murdering Winter. It's very annoying if you're Vaettiheim and you get Murdering Wintered. And you wouldn't think it because they have cold protection. The Rim Vetti are going to be fine, but the other guys are not fine. They're definitely not fine. So that's something we can do. And then also just in terms of, because we are going to be casting Wish, so the gem types are kind of all equivalent, except pearls, which are worth more. And the total value of Maelstrom is 27 gems when you add up all the kinds you get. 5 of those are astral. And so really you have to do 27 plus 5 is the real value, which is 32. So it's significantly better than a normal global. I don't think it does anything else that we can check. Murdering Winter, Maelstrom. Yeah. 15 water, 5 astral, 3 air, and 1 of all the others. So, very, very, very nice. Yeah. Because it's, what are all the others? You have, let me make sure I have that calculation right here. So that's 20, and then that's 23, and then, yeah, there's 4 others. So, gets you to 27. So anyway, super good. It opens up spamming this out. It also means we could potentially try to go for Celestial Rainbow, which would be hilarious. I don't know, it could be pretty good. Definitely would be good not being able to be targeted by nukes, but compared with other things we can do, maybe not great. I mean, we could also do Vengeful Waters, which is going to be really good against goblins because they will get completely squished by elementals all day long. It's very funny. Skelly spam doesn't help much there. They basically, yeah, I'd be really good against the goblins. In some ways, it's like kind of means I couldn't lose it. It's going to be amazing against the monkeys. Astral 1 mages against elementals. Oh my god, it's very, very bad. I mean, it's good against everybody here, really. Calum probably is maybe a little bit more resistant than others, just because they have death magic. It's reasonably high. I think they get mulched. So, I mean, that's something we could go for. But yeah. Anyway, those are basically the musings for this time. There's not much happening militarily. This force in his capital is getting pretty significant. If we were... we probably should cast it at least twice. I would like to kill this thing. Let's turn off Bowl of Blood here. And I think I might have to stop one of the Sanguine Dousing Rods because we're being a little greedy. We'll go ahead and cast this twice. We only cast it once. We'll cast it twice. So we have 2 Send Lesser Horror dudes coming over here. We'll have this guy come hit it. We'll see if we can take it. 2 should kill this. Don't want too many reinforcements making it into the capital. I was trying to... I mean, it's tea and cheese, and I don't like spending my gems really to... like... spending gems for something I'm not going to get. But it's totally fine. Because we have to... I mean, not totally fine. It's annoying. But we kind of have to. We have... we need TNG to be strong and... come over here and get this, and anyway, things will be good after that. But I would like for him to do it. He told me that it will be 4 turns now until he can be on top of the cap. So we'll see what he does. We'll see what he does. But if he loses a major victory, I mean a major battle against TNG, against Arco, it's possible that's the trigger for Vaettiheim to attack him. And I need to figure out what Vaettiheim is going to do. I'm suspecting he's going after Ulm. But I'm not sure. It's probably worth reaching... I haven't talked to Ulm in a while. It's probably worth reaching out to him, seeing if he has any gems he wants to trade. I need to also start trading gems for pearls if people want them. So I may do that to Calum. See if there's any gem type he wants. And maybe I could pay him even at a, like 1.2 or something gems for every pearl he's got. Because I can then turn them through Wish back into other types of gems. So I think we'll do that. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed it so far, and I will see you next time. Cheers.